A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure here.
You're not like closing everything down after this, are you?
No, but I mean, Ritter just a little nostalgic here. This is it.
Medina, is your last chance to ask one good question?
Yeah. Wow,
That's a lot.
We've been trying for years.
What is he doing? What is he doing?
He typically
Trying to
does
keep
that.
things copacetic
He
here.
typically does that. How about this? What do you take away, big picture, from Kevin leaving, but the contingency plans he made after that, and what that means for you guys moving forward?
There's a lot of thoughts around it. There's Kevin leaving, processing, missing him just as a person for what he did for us, for our organization, at the highest level, MVP of the finals twice, a couple championships. Great part of our fabric. So there's that part. I mean, to be honest, that's a loss. You feel that. And then, unfortunately, you don't have a lot of time, or we didn't have a lot of time to pivot. And I think from a holistic level, we just got a lot younger, which is something I think we probably had to do. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, but we felt, I think we went from the second oldest, I don't know if this is completely accurate, but our second or third oldest to the second or third youngest, which it's hard to do that in this league to get young players. They're the most coveted. So we'll see. A lot of change, a lot of new challenges. It'll be different, but I think we're excited to see what happens.
Some people kind of view what's upcoming as a gap year. I mean, do you think you guys can compete still next year?
Yeah, I mean, the West is it keeps getting better and better. Can we compete? Yeah, I think we've got a group that's shown, at least at its core, whenever Clay comes back with Draymond and Steph, that's a group that's shown and proved that they can win. As far as the other pieces, we have to see, right? We have to see who they are, what they are, how they fit. They're young, and young teams take some time. I've always been a huge believer in continuity, and we now have to work to get that back. We've got it at some level with some of the core guys, and obviously Looney and the other three, but it's a lot of new pieces, and that takes time to gel. But I think overall, organizationally, I feel, talking to Steve, we rode over here today from San Francisco. I mean, there's an excitement, there's an awareness that it's not going to be easy, it's going to be different. But change was coming at some point. You never know when, you never know how, but it's always coming.
Not sure if you answered this already, but the night that Kevin decided to leave, was that sign and trade kind of a possibility all along, or did it just happen was that just happen as a reaction to him?
More in the aftermath, because I know there was a lot of speculation about what Kevin was doing, but I wasn't aware of any finality till I saw him and talked to him. So we, from that point on, explored some pretty immediate possibilities. And as you all saw, everybody that covers our sport, I mean, the rapidity of free agency, I've never seen it go so fast ever. I've been on the agent side for about 13, 14 years, and I don't know how many, eight or something on this side. Never in my life have I seen things move as fast as they did that first evening, whether it was our business or anybody's business. So we were forced to act quickly. The whole league was moving at a very, very fast pace, and so didn't have a lot of time. And that's where, when we predict free agency, when we plan for free agency, it makes our sport exciting, but it's fast. And so you have to move quickly, you have to be prepared. And so we moved as quick as we could off the information we got.
I know it's a business, but how do you reconcile both losing one Kevin, obviously, and Andre in the same night, where those are two foundational pieces for you? How do you, just in one night?
Oh, it's very difficult. I mean, those are people I like. Those are people I still like. And those memories, those relationships don't change. I mean, just because they're going to go work for a different company or different team, what we shared, whether it's myself or their teammates or anybody in the organization, that doesn't go away. So that hurts. I mean, those things hurt. If they don't hurt, then I guess you never had a relationship with those guys in the first place. And you don't. That's the hard part of the business. But I'm sure I'm going to see those guys again. I'm looking forward to it in whatever capacity they're in, whatever teams they're on. And I wish them well. Those guys were tremendous, both of them, for me personally, for our fans. for our community, how they represented themselves. So yeah, that's a tough thing to pivot off of.
Bob, as you look back, is there anything you feel like you or the organization could have done differently to keep Kevin?
I don't think so, Nick. I mean, you do the best you can, and but I think all along, I mean, to me, it was a blessing that he came. That he wanted to be a part of us. This is a guy that can move in whatever direction he wants because of his talent. He came and he delivered. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, he was everything we could have asked for. He represented us on the court. He represented us off the court. No, and I think that he still has a great relationship with I think a lot of his teammates, our staff, our coaching staff, myself. Just wanted to try something new, and that's okay. I mean, all you here probably worked for more than one company, yeah, but no, I don't think so. I don't look back and say if this or that. I don't feel that way.
What was that conversation that night like? Quick?
No, I was in New York. It wasn't quick. I hadn't seen him since he'd been hurt. Just more to see how he's doing as a human being. Kevin and I talk. We talked all the time in his 3 years here. So we talked about a lot of different things. But it was probably an hour or two. Just life, stuff like that. I'm not going to share all the details, but we didn't depart on. I think we even talked I talked to him till maybe I wasn't allowed to talk to him a few days later. It wasn't like slamming the door. It was very, to be honest, I was kind of sad. It was kind of sad. Yeah, I mean, I was, because I like him. And the other thing is I love basketball, and so just to watch him play was a treat for me. Just to watch him practice, to watch him work out. He worked out right on this basket all the time. I'll miss that. I will, just as a basketball fan, because guys like him don't come along too often. And his skill set, his ability is so unique that to get to I view it, for me, reconcile it with I got to see him up close for 3 years of my life, and I'll always remember that. But he's still going to play, and I'll still get to watch him play somewhere else. I mean, for a basketball fan, you really got to appreciate guys like that.
Your point about him wanting to.
Almost the whole season trying to speculate about what his motivation was. Did you get any sense of that you can share of just what his motivation is and why you wanted to make the move?
No, I mean, I didn't really, the only thing I'd share is that, he just felt like it was, something inside of him and in his heart that he wanted to try something different. Nothing wrong with that. I have a piece about it personally. I hope our fans can too. He was just in the annals of Bay Area sports. He's one of the best athletes we've ever seen come through our city, and certainly this organization. And you saw Joe reflect that in his statements, how he felt as an owner of this team. And so I just appreciate, like growing up here, the fact that Kevin Durant wore a Warriors uniform for 3 years. To me, that's pretty cool, whether I'm here in the position I'm in or just a Warriors fan. I think for him it was just a new chapter, trying something different.
Is there any new information on how Clay is doing?
No, I'm going to go down to LA. I haven't seen him post-surgery because we were trying to put a new team together. But I'll go down and see him, talk to his agent a few times, and texted Clay a few times. But no new information on a timeline, and I think it's kind of early to speculate.
There's some reporting that you and the Warriors and D'Angelo Russell maybe be a 1-year thing. Do you see him on the roster long term, or where are you kind of with him on that?
Oh yeah, all right. I mean, I know it's been written and speculated, and that's fine. That's what everybody's job is to do. We didn't sign him with the intention of just trading him. We haven't even seen him play in our uniform yet, and a lot of people have us already trading him. That's not how we're viewing it. Let's just see what we have. Let's see what he is. Let's see how he fits. Part of our job in the front office and the coaching staff and the organization is how does it all work? But so much of, and I don't blame anybody. This is maybe fan-driven, but so much of our sport, at least, and maybe other sports, is what are you doing next? We got to figure out what we're doing now. And that applies to a guy like D'Angelo in that there is speculation that we're moving him on. We haven't even seen him play. I haven't seen a lot of our guys play. We haven't seen him play with some of our core players, and we won't even know till Clay comes back how that fits. We're just happy that we got a young player that has a lot of upside, in our opinion, and we're excited at the possibility of him in our uniform.
How do you see the fit specifically with him and Steph, both offensively and defensively, and accounting for the Clay being out at least to begin the season?
I think for us, with Clay being out, one area we've, obviously with Kevin not being here is with scoring. We need to score, and especially with Clay being out, you always need to score in this league. The ability to play pick and roll is something Steph can clearly do, but now we've got another guy that can do it. Clay plays pretty good off the ball. He started to play some pick and roll last year, but him and Steph are both tremendous off the ball players. So we'll see how the fit goes. I know that D'Angelo, talking to him, is excited about playing with Steph, about the spacing that a guy like Steph, and then when Clay's back, provide. I don't know that two players in the league provide more spacing than Steph and Clay because of their ball movement and ability. Scoring, youth, like I said, for us, the ability to get a young player heading more into his prime, it's very hard to do that. It is difficult, and we likely aren't going to be hopefully drafting high. So you only have a certain small finite ways to get young players, and this was one way to do it. And so we're going to see how it goes and see what he can bring.
Can you talk a little bit about how the new guys are doing in the summer league?
Yeah, the summer league. We saw they look young, right? Some ups and downs with Pascal and Poole, and obviously Jacob was playing some point guard for us. Alan Smilajic is young too. He's a young player, played in our G League system all year. So it's a new dawn for us, but it's okay. I think we haven't been in this position for 5 years, but it's going to be fun, and doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy because when you have young players, there's a learning curve to their growth, to their NBA experience. So we saw some flashes. You saw some good things, saw some bad things. But the summer league is not the NBA. It's an approximation at a lower level. It's young. It doesn't have the size of it. Doesn't have the skill of it. But like the competitiveness, like them, working hard as they did, learning a new system, and we'll see what they end up doing when it counts. I think you'll see a lot of familiar faces. I think Ron will be in a slightly altered role. We're still letting that evolve, but he'll be back. I know he was courted, but met with him a few times, talked to him. He's happy to be back, and I don't think it'll be a small role, but him and Steve are going to work out exactly what that looks like. Some new faces on the development side. We're going to have a heavy focus on player development, but I'll let Steve, we're still finalizing some of the pieces, but a lot of familiar faces, maybe a couple new faces, but Steve, because it's not all completed, Steve will probably weigh in on how exactly he wants that to look. But it's going to be, it's not a veteran team anymore. As it has a couple core guys, but a lot of young players. And so we're going to take a slightly different approach to that. And but I think the staff is excited.
Do you feel that the roster is finalized at this point, or do you think that there's still some tinkering to do?
We might, there's a two-way situation we have to work out in the next few days. But as has been reported, we're hard capped. It's interesting. It's I get a sense of what the NFL deals with. The hard cap, it takes a lot of decisions out of your hands. But I think we're close to the end. We're pretty close to finalizing in the next few days. But all we really have right now is a potential two-way.
Is there an option for Smilajic to be a two-way guy right now?
No, he's going to be guaranteed. Yeah. But no, he's not going to be a two-way guy.
You're right.
Yeah.
He's
He's a possibility. We're still trying to work. Steve and I are going to talk. He's actually, this roster took shape so quickly. Everybody's kind of letting the dust settle and saying, now what do we need? What's available? With what we have in space is limited. What we have in roster spots is pretty much completed. So we'll sit down and talk about what the next move is.
Given that at least the majority of the roster set in stone, what are your expectations for this upcoming season? What they can accomplish?
I knew somebody was going to ask that. I don't look. It's early. I don't know. I mean, I hope we will stay as healthy as we can. Hopefully, we've the health price we paid pretty steeply. Hopefully, we're healthy. I think we need to be healthy. I don't know how the young players are going to arrive, whether they'll come out of the gates ready to go and hit a wall, or it'll take some time. I don't know. I think it depends. Depends on a lot of different things. But like what Steph said, we're going to compete. It'll be different. Not that the regular season didn't matter before it did, but it takes on a new meaning. And I think for our fans, even myself, walking into the arena, every game's going to probably take on a heightened meaning, which is fun. It's going to be exciting. We're going to watch the growth and development of young guys. How does it fit? How do Draymond and Steph and Kavan initially help the young guys fit in? But for me to speculate on what we will be or won't be, I know that's exciting. But I just want us to show up, work hard, get acclimated to the new arena, get everybody together as best we can, and get to work. And training camp. Training camp will be big for us. There's a lot to learn, a lot of new guys in the system. So we'll see how long it takes, and hopefully, if we're healthy and we compete, we can make some noises. We'll see.
You mentioned the hard cap. How creative did you have to be? Kind of staying under it, still trying to make all the tweaks that you had.
I hadn't seen David Kelly, who's our capologist, and I just went up and I hadn't seen him since June, whatever. And I just gave him a hug. I said, "Thanks, man." He started laughing. He said his wife usually goes out of town, and she was actually in town for this free agency. And he looked at her and said, "See, this is what it is. This is what the job is," because it was so frantic. And I would literally call David and say, "Tell me this. If we do this, what happens then?" And there's a mathematical component to this. And obviously, you that cover our sport know that the intricacies of it, and the sequential, how we had to do everything we did, and what order it had to go in to stay under the cap. It's really fascinating. At one point, I just said, "Tell me what I have to do. Just tell me what to do." It was. We just were laughing. I haven't seen one like this before.
Was there a move that was the most tricky, or like dollar amounts? I know Willie Cauley-Stein's
Sure. I think the totality of it, right? Just to kind of all the moving parts and how fast it went created a difficulty to it, to kind of be holding one thing in one hand and trying to finalize something else in the other. All the different parties involved and all the different machinations as far as this. You can only do this if you do that, and if you do that, you got to do this after you do that, and this. The speed of it is still. I'm still comprehending how. In other sports, I know free agency moves quickly, but not like it does in our sport. And I think it's entertaining for a lot of the fans, and probably fun to cover. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to work in it, but it gets done, I guess, pretty fast. I got to have a beer on the 4th of July, which is unusual.
First time in a while.
Well, yeah.
Well, for Steve, it's kind of a parallel of year one, where he didn't really know how the whole group was going to come together as a team, and that was part of the challenge, is figuring all that out, and maybe his coaching style.
Yeah, I think we're embracing all of it, right? I don't think anybody's sitting here saying it's going to be easy. But it's been a certain way for a little while, and the newness of it, and also look, the new arena is exciting to us too. It's maybe it's coming at the right. All of it's coming at the right time. Change, but yeah, for Steve, it'll be a lot of teaching. Before, maybe you had a lot of guys that had operated in the system, but it'll be teaching, and I think he'll embrace that too. And a lot of learning, a lot of youth. We're going to have more highs and lows probably as far as winning and losing than we've had before. But he seems to be invigorated. He's going off and doing the USA stuff, so he's excited about that. Probably learn a lot from Coach Popovich and the coaches he's going to be around. And one thing Popovich is so great at is he's been so successful at changing his style, right? You've seen the Spurs evolve and play a certain way and then shift with their personnel, and we'll see what Steve wants to do. I know he loves movement, so we'll see how we can implement that with the personnel we have. So I think he's excited. He seems to be.
Is there a little bit of a sell job that comes along with that to the players too?
Yeah, I think though that with Steph and Draymond as leaders and clearly Clay, I think that from an outside perspective, players, I should say, from what I hear, if they're being honest with me, is people do like what they see as far as the way our team plays. I think it's attractive. I don't think anybody watches it from a peer standpoint and says, I don't want to be a part of that system. So selling it in a certain way, not from an overall level, but for you to fit into this system, you have to do this. And you may not be used to doing that. That might be the selling point you're talking about. But as far as selling what we've done, clearly it's worked. A lot of these guys that have shown up, I think only 4 guys on the team will have had a championship out of the 14. I think. I don't know if that's exactly right, but that's a lot of guys that are hungry. And so hopefully you don't have to sell them too much on winning.
Based on any early conversations you had with Steve, what's the feeling of how Steph and Draymond will be managed through the course of the season?
You know, I know it's been written a lot as far as managing them. I think they're excited. I mean, I think we haven't talked about who knows what will happen, but there hasn't been any internal dialogue as far as we're not playing those guys and they're only going to play X amount of games. I mean, Steph was pretty vocal about I want to play basketball, which is, you know, look, both those guys love playing basketball. I mean, even when they have sat at times, it's not them begging to not play. It's just 5 years or 4 years of 100 and plus games. You got to be, you know, that's a lot of basketball. So I think they're all excited. I mean, I've talked to Steph, talked to Draymond about the offseason, and they're excited to get back to work.
See the reports on Kuz's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to say this. Our thoughts and prayers are with Onion Kuzmic. I don't have all the details, but it sounds like a very serious thing. And we're thinking about him. He was with us for a little while. And we've been in contact with some of his people over there. So hopefully he emerges okay. But that's something that was on our minds.